Welcome to the Gratitude and Attitude Podcast, an organic and sometimes hilarious ongoing conversation between two soul sisters who have a lot of gratitude and sometimes a little bit of attitude. Welcome to Gratitude and Attitude, everybody. I'm Pri, and this is Nan.
Hello.
And we have our favorite tech guy on the scene today. Carlos, are all our cameras running?
Everything is working and operational.
Everything's good.
Outstanding.
You're the best.
So are we recording?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Today we're going to be talking about learning about narcissism and dealing with narcissistic people. And it's kind of a serious podcast. And it's also one that justifies me reading the legal verbiage that we need to read. So before we even start chatting, I have to read this. This podcast is here to inform and inspire, but it's not medical or mental health advice. We talk about serious topics like narcissism and mental illness, but nothing you hear should take the place of talking to a licensed professional. If you're struggling or have questions about your own mental health or the mental health of others in your sphere, please reach out to a qualified provider. Listening to this show does not mean that we have a therapeutic relationship with you, and we can't be responsible for how information is used. Take care of yourself and use your best judgment. And we hope that our prayer today is that you would learn something important and critical. And if one thing that we say sets you free to start living the very best way you can, that's why we're doing this today. And just to kind of set it up, we were talking about, what I wanted to talk about this week. And I've had some recent interactions with narcissists.
Really?
Yeah. And watching narcissists affect other people's lives.
You're right. Yeah.
And as I was watching these stories unfold, two different stories unfolding, I was like, I don't know anything about narcissism. And I feel so short-circuited and not able to help because I don't know anything about narcissism. So before I open up, I wanted to ask you guys, what do you know about narcissism? What are some of the things that you've picked up over the course of time? Carlos, you and I were talking right before we went on air. And what was your comment about narcissism?
I think it's something very difficult to deal with when you are surrounded by narcissistic people. And definitely something that whoever is in between or surrounded by people like that has to do something about it. Because they drain your energy.
You said something like, they're really bad.
They're really bad.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can compare narcissism with, when it's raining and it's raining a little bit, but you don't get wet. So you decide to stay out and work. Eventually you will get wet, even worse than the full rain. So I think
Just sprinkling on you.
But you stay outside, just getting those sprinkles.
Over the course of time.
Over the course of time, you get full wet. And I that's something that I compare with with being surrounded by someone like that. Eventually, at the beginning, you will say, no big deal. But eventually, they drain.
Yes.
Yeah.
So good. How about you, Nan?
Well, I know that, I've the same like you. I've dealt with someone who was with a narcissistic person, which was horrific. It was terrible. I don't know if me personally have dealt with a lot of narcissistic people on a personal level. I've known someone who has, but I know that what I've learned is that they don't have a lot of empathy.
That's totally correct.
And they are very, very controlling.
Yeah.
Very dominating. They want to be the center of attention. they do nothing wrong. It's always the other person. I mean, it's very difficult to deal with a narcissist. It's you as a person, it just beats you down. They want you to feel less than. They're controlling. But I don't know, like a lot. I mean, doing some research on it but like I said, I went through an experience, and we'll talk about later, with somebody that I know that went through a relationship with a narcissistic person, and just the things that I can share what it did to that person.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It really, really, really sad to watch that. And you try to help, but honestly, that narcissistic person they're with, even when the person's not there, they still control them in a way, because they feel like, oh, it's my fault. I need to go back, or I need to do this. It's my fault. I should have talked to him before I left, and he's sorry. And like, it's just crazy, like how they kind of brainwash.
Oh my God.
I guess.
I mean, you summarized narcissism so perfectly. I think we could just call it that be the podcast. Honestly. So I actually have done a deep dive over the last 2 or 3 weeks. So I have just enough information that hopefully there'll be something that unlatches something for someone watching. But I'm not, obviously, already gone through this, a therapist and all those other things. But I am someone who's able to take a lot of information and concentrate it and pick out the most digestible portions of it. And that's what today is about. So what I want to invite you, Carlos and Nan, to do is stop me and ask me any questions as you're thinking about them, because I'm sure other people will have the questions. If I can answer it, great. If I can't, then I can point people to some resources. And before we start, I'm not even going to do my usual thing about endorsements. But I am going to say I read a book. And I've read multiple books and watched like dozens of podcasts, and I've got all kinds of really good information. So email us on our website, gratitudeandattitude.life. There's like an email section. Email us if you have more questions. But this book, It's Not You, by Dr. Ramani Durvasula. Dr. Ramani Durvasula is one of the best, most thorough, like conglomerations of easily digestible information for anyone who wants to. This is the subtitle. It's not you is the title. The subtitle is Identifying and Healing from Narcissistic People. So identifying and then starting the process of healing. We're not going to be talking about healing today. We are going to be talking about identifying, because it's just such a huge topic. So I want to start by saying one of the things that we're starting to find today is that there's a lot of confusion about who is truly narcissistic and who's just a selfish jerk, right? There's a big, big difference. Do you know what the difference is?
No.
Okay. That's good. So the difference is there are a lot of portions, there are a lot of different traits that narcissists have. First of all, Dr. Ramani, in the multiple podcasts I watched her in, she was like, there's a diagnosis called narcissistic personality disorder. It's one of the diagnoses in psychology today that's one of the most curious things, because the data set that they would have for other diseases like depression or even like, addiction, all those disorders and those psychological illnesses have way more data sets. Why isn't there more data collected on narcissistic personality disorder? Because narcissists will not come in and get diagnosed.
Yeah.
So
that would be like, totally against who they are.
Correct. So what she said was, it's really not even, someone can't say that guy's a narcissist because he has NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, because they will not come in.
Yeah, because they won't admit they're narcissists.
The only ones that do are the ones who have a co-disease. So for example, a lot of narcissists are addicts.
Right.
Believe
So
it
they
or
have
not.
something else.
So they have addiction
right.
and they're motivated to come in for
Yeah.
healing for their addiction. Oh, and by the way, they're narcissists. The other thing about narcissists is they tend to avoid any sense of accuracy or truth about themselves because a narcissist is constantly telling themselves a narrative that's not true. They're delusional about who they are. So that's why there's no information.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
So I didn't know that until I started researching. So what Dr. Ramani and many others say is it's a narcissistic personality style. So what's a personality style? A personality style is like, okay, I'm quiet and introspective. Like that's my basic personality. People would say, "Oh no, I didn't know that about you because you chat so easily and you can talk about anything."
Right.
But the truth is, I was born with a particular little personality. I was very shy as a baby. I didn't do a lot of talking. I think I started really talking in the 4th grade. And then
Really?
many would say I never stopped from that
Yeah.
point forward, but I did not talk until the 4th grade. I didn't say a lot. I was just a very quiet girl. That's my style. When I'm chatting or charming or at a party and speaking with people, I'm adjusting. That's not my true personality style.
Yeah, I do know that
So
about you.
yeah, you do. And you've watched it for many, many years now. So at some point in time when people go, well, can narcissists change? No, because it's a personality style. And the style itself doesn't lend to improvement.
So what you're saying, there's no way of helping a narcissistic person. That they're going to be, they're just going to be that way because it's part of who they are.
From all my research,
Wow.
yes.
So there's no like therapy, no like, unless maybe that person, I don't know, but then they'd have to admit that they were narcissistic. Like if they said, "Oh, I don't want to be this way, let me go get help," but they'd have to. Narcissistic people won't ever admit that.
Why is that? I read the same, by the way.
So it's very chemically. It's very,
I
very.
read the same
So
about that. But why?
because it's your
not a choice.
personality style.
So it's not a choice.
You are born with a predisposition to narcissism. Multiple things can happen along the way. One of the things that they say sets up someone to become a narcissist is a parent who thinks, who lifts up that child and treats them as if they are a god king or queen. So where they lift them up and they treat them like, you're better. Okay, you're amazing. It's not you're amazing, you're special. It's that you're more special than everyone else.
Okay.
That's a critical distinction. Because I can't tell you how many times I've looked at my nephews' faces and held them as little babies and said,
Yeah.
you are such a special person. But
Yeah.
I never said, you are so much more special than everyone else.
No.
And typically the parent who says that
Terrible.
is also
Right.
has narcissistic personality style. Isn't this fascinating? Like,
Yeah,
I'm like
yeah.
in awe of this.
It's something that then I guess it's just embedded. And well, I guess
Well,
when
it-
you're a child,
it
kinda
layers in.
Right. It layers in where, you're better than that other
right.
person.
But according to the doctor who's done a lot of research on this, what she says is it's not a given. Someone can have a predisposition to narcissistic personality style. And then
they can,
if these conditions, so one is a parent who lifts you up and treats you like a god king, that you're better than everybody else, because then the kid believes they're better than everybody else. And what is that? That's a core foundation of narcissism. The other one is the parent who treats them like garbage. The kid who's constantly like yelled at, demeaned, like treated like garbage compared to their other siblings. That kid, if they have a predisposition to narcissistic personality style and they're abused in those ways, they can become a narcissist. But here's the interesting thing. You can look at someone and they're a narcissist, and this is what the doctor said, like when you're sitting there listening to, usually it's the victim of the narcissist that the doctors treat, right? Because the narcissist isn't coming in and being like, I abuse my wife. Like that doesn't happen. But what she said was, it's interesting. You can look at the person and then trace their development of narcissistic personality style backwards. But you can't look at a kid right now and trace it forwards. You can't look at a kid and go, oh, they're going to have narcissistic personality style. It's not projective. It's not set up that
you
way.
can't predict. You can't predict.
It's not predictive, right?
Yeah.
It develops over time. So a lot of people say, so here, that's one thing. The thing that I wanted to make sure that I spoke very clearly about is what is narcissism and what is it not? So narcissism is a bunch of character traits that all put together create narcissistic personality style. But not everyone is a narcissist. And the thing that determines whether someone's a narcissist or not is the amount of traits, the sheer number of them, and I'm going to go over the most critical ones, and the repetition of that trait in that person's life. So for example, okay, so I'll tell you, as I was reading this, I was like, sometimes I'm grumpy, sometimes I'm a jerk, sometimes I've cussed somebody out, like if you're thinking, am I a narcissist? You are not a narcissist. Like you're just not, because you're thinking about your own failure and frailty. That means you're not a narcissist. It just means you were grumpy that day or difficult to get along with, or you're going through a hard time. Doesn't make that person a narcissist. It's all these traits set in a pattern that keeps repeating itself. So it takes time to determine if someone's a narcissist. Now, at the end of the podcast, I do have some red flags that if you start to date a narcissist or you become friends with a narcissist, you can look at these red flags and altogether you're like, that's definitely a narcissist, I'm out of here. Because the best time to leave a narcissist is before you're ever engaged and involved with them.
Yeah, and they say that, I have it right here too, they say that the first impression of a narcissist, so that would be like what we're,
The red flag.
Well, they say, I don't know if I can find it, but they say they're really good at first impressions.
Amazing.
Like they will fool you.
Super charming.
Big time. Where was it? I'm not as organized as Priya is.
Nobody said that, man.
I'll find it though. And I'll read it later. But it talks about that at like first impressions. Like they will really trick you into believing, like you won't even think they have narcissistic behaviors.
Yeah.
I think it takes a little while.
One of the things that I hear is like a lot of people now, especially nowadays, are like, that person's such a narcissist. No, they're not.
Right.
If they're not like that all the time, or if they're not like that 75, 85% of the time. They're just a jerk. There are plenty of jerks in the world.
I was just going to say that.
Tons of jerks who are jerks for a lot of different reasons. We're not going to make this, the threshold to determine if someone's a narcissist is actually pretty high. And narcissism is one of the most horrible, damaging, like styles of personality that you could possibly be. Because you destroy everyone in your path eventually. And that is true if you've had any interaction or known any of them to affect anybody. And that will be really, I hope that you will share about.
Yeah, I got to find it in here.
The situation that you were talking about.
Yeah. Well, it says here, from Narcissism Psychology Today, they talk about, they say that it's nearly impossible for people with narcissistic personality disorder to truly fall in love and build a trusting, equal partnership because of their...
Do they say why?
Such an individual may seek to establish strict rules in a relationship and attempt to isolate a new partner from friends and family, among other disturbing behaviors. So it's just I guess it's part of the behavior.
Yeah.
So, here it is. So why do narcissists make such a good first impression?
Yeah.
Research suggests that people may initially be drawn to narcissists because they seem to process stronger self-esteem than they really do, a trait that people often appreciate.
So good.
As the stages of dating, appreciate during stages of dating, but for most narcissists, relationships are transactional.
Right.
They provide positive attention and you don't want me to read this next one, so.
Okay.
The objective is to enjoy uncommitted. Anyway, this is a little bit about sex, so we're not going to go there. But anyway, their first impression. I know. Carlos is rolling his eyes.
I'm sorry, everybody. I will not discuss sex in this podcast.
Anyways, Carlos. So Carlos, we're gonna leave her out, and you're gonna take her chair on one podcast, and we're gonna talk about it.
That's never gonna happen.
Well, when she's sick, I'm gonna be like, Carlos, come on, we're gonna do the podcast.
You guys are gonna sneak a podcast.
in. Anyways, but on a serious note, but they do say that they do their first impressions are pretty strong.
Yeah.
Because honestly, who doesn't like a strong, like, not aggressive, but very confident. You'd be like, oh man, that guy was really confident and really like, I don't know.
I love that you're saying that because narcissists are very magnetic people at first.
Yeah.
So one of the things I want to I have so much thought that the most important thing to remind people is not everyone's a narcissist. Number 2, narcissism falls on a spectrum. So there's very mild narcissism and there's very severe narcissism. Severe narcissists could be diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, but also they're what's called a malignant narcissist.
I think I read about that. Yeah.
Malignant narcissists are the most horrible people on the planet other than sociopaths, psychopaths, and people with antisocial personality disorder. They call it the dark tetrarch, something like that, where it's like the most horrible, maladaptive, hateful, horrible human beings all have these traits. And they have more than one. Sometimes a narcissist can also be a psychopath or a sociopath. But what we're going to talk about today are just the middle of the road narcissists. I want to read you a paragraph from here because I want everybody to be clear about who we're talking about. We're not talking about the extreme ones. And then we're not talking about one of the things that they say, and I was like, oh my God, when I read this, is that there are some people who are mild narcissists. And usually you can tell them in society by how much they post on social media
Of themselves?
and how selfish they are.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I was like, oh my God, I just selfied yesterday on my Facebook
You
page.
did?
I did. Well, I was like, I had to put a picture and I couldn't find anything. So I was
Stop
like,
it.
I took a
You're
picture.
so far from that. Don't
Well,
even.
I was like, oh my God, but I'm going to tell you.
Carlos, stop putting selfies out there.
Carlos is the ultimate selfier, said nobody ever.
I know.
He's such a good man. Okay, here's what we're talking about. The majority of folks the majority of folks affected by narcissistic abuse are not just dealing with the distraction and annoyance of a narcissistic adult who is obsessive about social media, nor are they managing violence and coercion. So violence and coercion one side, selfieing and social media on the other side. Most of the time, there are moderate narcissists and they abuse the people around them with systematic invalidation, minimization, manipulation, rage, betrayal, and gaslighting.
Oh, yeah.
With periods of normal and good thrown into the mix. To the world, the relationship with that moderate narcissist may look fine, while you yourself, whoever you are, dealing with this moderate narcissist, are living in a confused and uncomfortable haze. So we're going to be talking about moderate narcissists today, not severe, certainly not mild. Okay, so that's number one. It's really important to say that we're talking about, and the majority of narcissists are moderate. So what are some of the traits that a narcissist? A trait is it's like part of your character. It's the way you operate. So what are some of the traits that you read about for narcissists?
So, hold on. Some of the traits are sense of self-importance, entitled, can only be around people who are important or special, interpersonality, exploitive, for their own gain, arrogant, like I said, lack of empathy, must be admired, envious of others, or believe that others are envious of them. That's a few that I have.
That's really good.
What about you, Carlos?
Yeah. Carlos, what do you have?
Pretty much all the things that you say,
Yeah.
and they always want to win. Basically, they don't care about your feelings.
No, not at all. Yeah.
Always manipulating, and they make you think that you're always the problem, not them.
So good.
You know, the thing is like, how do you fall for somebody like that? I mean, like how either, or want to be around someone like that. I guess they have to be really, 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 really good in the beginning, because what does that say anything about yourself? Like if you're in a relationship with someone like that? I mean, I wonder, like, you know what I mean?
It's interesting because I looked for like, how do you know that you're vulnerable to a narcissist? That's in this book.
Okay.
And so before, like not going into like, who are the people that generally end up being in relationships with narcissists?
Yeah.
I will tell you, I was friends with a malignant narcissist once. It wasn't a very long friendship.
Yeah.
But she was malignant and she was a horrible human being. And she was one of the best actresses I ever met. She was charming, interesting, supposedly well-educated. Like those aren't things that I'm like, oh, I want to be friends with that person. She befriended me. She wanted to know about me. So the way it begins is with a charm offensive. So, and actually in relationships, those narcissists love bomb the object of their affection. Not in friendship, but I'm talking about most people, the greatest damage that's done to them is because it's their romantic partner.
Yeah. But I do think too, because I could see there was a period in my life where I went through a relationship, and then when I got out of the relationship, I was kind of like vulnerable. And I got involved with someone that I wouldn't say he was I don't know. He could have been, but I look back and I go, oh my gosh, like I would have never been with this person.
Yes.
If I was in my right state of mind, in a sense, if I wasn't
Correct.
hurt, if I wasn't like, you just feel, you come out of one relationship into a next and you just want that person to want to be with you,
good.
but when I looked back, a year later or 2 years later, I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, I would never have been with this person if I was in your
right mind.
Yeah.
So think about the number of times that all of us just in this room have been in a tight spot or gone through a terrible breakup or been hurt by somebody else and kind of like limping along after the last relationship.
Yeah.
That's when narcissists find you.
Right. I could see that happening.
It's almost like if you look at a sea of people swimming in the ocean, a narcissist is a predator. And they will look for the weakest, sickest, like most off-balance person they can find. And that person is like, they have a red flag coming out of their head, waving like this. I'm in distress.
Right.
I'm in distress.
Yeah, because they're not going to go after somebody who is like, excuse me, but
Correct.
Step back.
Correct.
But I think for me in that relationship, he wasn't a narcissist. He just was.
I think he was just
a shithead.
He was well said. 100%.
But but I could see where it could happen, where you could. I mean, because as I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking I could see, and especially if you're vulnerable and they're looking for that, and they say the right things to you and make you feel like you're all this.
Well, it starts with love bombing.
Yeah.
I was with a narcissist.
You were?
In my 20s. My early 20s, I dated
I
a
didn't meet him.
narcissist. No, you didn't know him. It was before I moved here. And as I look back, I'm like, I cannot believe I escaped.
Yeah.
But also, like, I was in my mid-20s. My mom had just died. I was kind of limping along, and I met this guy. And what they do is they start with like this massive campaign to get you. You're amazing. You're the one. I never thought I would find someone like you. All these things. And it wasn't long. I mean, I just like, I didn't have the tolerance for, you know, a bad person. I ended up blowing up the whole relationship and, you know, telling them to pound sand, don't ever lose my number, all those other things. But they got me with the love bombing. That's how they got my attention. And it was a wildly problematic, miserable, hideous relationship. But I did learn, and I learned one time. And my prayer and my hope is for those people who are with somebody. A lot of the people are married to a narcissist now, a moderate narcissist, not even a severe one. You think about that.
Well, do
and
moderate
they live alone.
narcissists, since it's moderate, can they change?
No,
Oh gosh,
no.
that's a tough one to make to know if they're a narcissist or they're just not a great
Well,
person.
no, it's actually not, because it's a pattern that's set over
yeah.
a period
That's
of time.
right. That's what you said about
So let me run through the traits that are incredibly important to recognize. And like I said, this is digested information. I took it from a bunch of different sources. So you can pretty much count on this was from somebody's source, but I don't have attribution because it's general knowledge.
That's what I tell you that I do all the time.
That's totally not what you tell me. Like, you say something and then you never.
I go, it's online. It's general
It's on
knowledge.
the internet.
Okay, go.
Okay. The number one thing is that a narcissist has a need for something called supply. Okay. So supply is adulation, admiration, validation, status, compliments, excessive recognition, attention. They get it through wealth, ostentatiousness, social media likes, and then friends who like fawn over them. So I'll give you an example. I know a narcissist just through Facebook. That person is one of the most horrible people I know in this town. And he posted something recently that was designed for everybody to be like, you're amazing. Wow, you're incredible. And I looked at that post and I was like, oh, he's getting supply. He's posting that thing because he's like, I need supply. I need people to admire me and think I'm amazing and think
They need to be fed.
I need to be fed. That's exactly what it is. So if you look at a narcissist, the easiest way, what I've come to over the last 2 or 3 weeks of doing this is they're basically like a vampire. And they will take you, suck every ounce of blood out of you, throw you away, and find the next source of supply. It's creepy, right? It's creepy, yeah. And horrible. So so it's a supply. So what is supply for a narcissist? Let's say a narcissistic husband somewhere. It's like, did you iron my clothes? Did you do my stuff? Did you make dinner? They don't ask, they expect. And everything that wife does for that husband is supply. And the minute she stops doing it, that's when like the giant jerk rises up in him and demeans that woman, puts her down, treats her like dog shit. And that person is smushed into the ground like a bug because they're not providing supply. But then they switch because once they feel, they go to work, their boss says, hey, you're doing a great job. That night they can come home, they'll lift up that person that they smushed like a bug, and they will treat them like a queen that night. So the number one thing that I would say that every narcissist needs is supply, attention, like gratitude. Thank you so much for doing blah, blah, all that over stuff. Another thing about them is that they're consistently inconsistent as people. So what does that mean? It means that you never know which person you're going to get. So if that person comes home and they're super nice, you're like, oh, that helps me. That leads me, they're not a narcissist. They just treated me well. Well, they're inconsistent, but they're always inconsistent. So they're not all the time mean and they're not all the time nice. It's back and forth and back and forth. It's a consistent inconsistency. So they need supply. They're consistently inconsistent. They're restless. They're constantly, they have shifting masks. So if, say, for example, they wake up that morning, they go and they sit with their boss and they're like, you're amazing. They say to their boss, you're amazing. I'm so glad I'm here. I'm so thankful for this job. Then, the next day they're at the water cooler with somebody and they look at the person, they're like, who works below them, because it's all about status and recognition. And they'll be like, God, you're so pathetic. Why are you even at this job? Those are the things they say. But the boss would never know that because they were wearing a different mask. Does this make sense so far?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Carlos, you look so disturbed.
I know. We got to get him in this conversation.
Yeah.
No, I'm paying attention. I'm profiling someone that I know.
You're profiling.
Well, let's talk
someone.
about that.
Yeah. Well, and actually now would be a good time to talk about who you think you might be a narcissist. And I really want you to share that story.
I will. But let's talk to Carlos about so is this like a friend in your life? I mean, you don't have to say the person, but I mean.
When I was listening about they at the very beginning, they say great things about you, to adore you, to put you very high. And then once you're in the game, they begin to drain everything out of you until they dispose you. And something that I read was somebody, and that this is interesting because when you say that how a woman can be with an abusive husband for so long, how is that possible? And then I think I read that when you are surrounded by a narcissist person, you tend over the time to have problems of self-esteem, also anxiety. So you feel like you're not worth it. And that's why you stay with that abusive person for too long. Because over the time degrades you, take you to the ground, and you receiving crumbs, and thank you,
Yes,
thank you for that.
Yes,
It's critical.
What about you, Nan? You said that you had somebody in your life that you knew someone who had a narcissistic relationship.
I mean, not anymore, thank God. But she was in a really, really sick kind of relationship. It was very, very controlling, very scary, actually. He really brainwashed her, made her watch these videos and kind of just made her feel like she was nothing, that she wasn't worthy, and that she was stupid, and kind of shifted everything, that everything was her fault. Whatever was happening was nothing, that he was perfect. She was the one that was fault. Basically made her feel like she didn't need her family. That her family was all wrong and he was right about everything.
So we isolated her.
We isolated her, took her out in the...
I seen that happening a lot.
Yeah, it made her really, think, and she left him once and then she went back, but because she felt guilty, she felt bad. She felt like, oh my gosh, the way I left, I shouldn't have left that way. I should have talked to him. He didn't deserve it, and then it's just crazy how it makes you feel as...
Like totally backwards and
like
upside
you're
down.
the guilty one. Like you feel guilty for trying to get away from that person, and that person didn't do much wrong. He's really not a bad person. He's just he wants this from you.
Well, I should have done such and such. He wouldn't have been so mad.
He wouldn't have been so mad.
And or I should have agreed to such and such because he's more comfortable with that.
Yeah. And I think, some of the things she told me, I don't remember everything, but I was like, I couldn't believe it. Like, I was like, wow,
that actually happened.
I can't believe you sat there and watched those things. Well, yeah. Like he tried to even manipulate God, use
God's name.
And just kind of shift it. It was just crazy. And
it's very evil.
Yeah, that's how I felt. It's exactly how I felt. I felt like it was a more of an evil spirit. It wasn't, it just felt very satanic.
Demonic.
Yeah, demonic. Yeah. Like it did, like the things. And if I, didn't see it, wasn't around her, I don't know. I mean, I still would believe it, but it's when you hear it from that person, you're just like, wow, okay, so why are you still with him?
Yeah.
But I love him, and I just, he's really not that bad of a person. They start trying to rationalize with the behaviors this person has. And they try to make, and then they feel, because they put so much guilt on them, everything's their fault. Then she started feeling like, well, it's my fault. This is my fault why we're not together. So yeah. And she went back to him, but then she left and she had to leave and she had to escape, basically.
Wow.
She had to do it when he wasn't watching.
It's like out of a movie.
Yeah.
You know what it's like? It's like Lifetime movies. Lifeline.
It was sad. I mean, it's sad, but she's fantastic now. But I mean, it's like you just kind of, you, and I think she was in a very vulnerable state, too. So,
Exactly.
But yeah, that's tough to watch because I really tried to help.
Yeah.
And then, but you can only do so much, and that person has to realize it for themselves. You can't make somebody do anything, especially a grown person, to make a decision that you feel that it's best for them.
Yeah.
They have to be able to do that on their own. And she did. She did it on her own, and thank God.
What
she did.
a wonderful
But she was scared of him. Like, she was kind of scared of him. She was afraid that he was going to do something, like, physically to our family.
Well, most likely what happened was he got bored. He rewrote the narrative that he had thrown her away.
Probably.
Most likely. And then he found a new source of supply.
Yeah, he probably did. Some way he manipulated it in his mind that he was the one who threw her away. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is interesting to me is I seen that when they isolate.
Yeah, he isolated her for sure, 1,000%.
And when you see that happening, I think, I don't know, it's something very impressive how you can isolate somebody.
Control. It's a control.
You
thing.
isolate to control.
Yeah.
And then don't talk to her.
Yeah.
Don't talk, that she's not good for you. And then eventually someone that have a bunch of friends, it was in contact with the family, have no one to talk about it. And I seen that a few times.
So this is one of the worst things about narcissists. So what they do is they create this spell. I actually wrote something that has to pertain with what you wrote. It said, a moderate narcissist, there are enough bad days that they take a toll, but enough good days to keep her hooked. That's kind of an important phrase. Enough bad days that take a toll,
That makes a lot
but
of sense.
enough good days to keep her hooked.
Yeah.
And what happens to a victim of a narcissistic abuser, and all narcissists are abusers. They just are. I mean,
mentally, it doesn't mean physically, but they could mentally.
at least mentally
mental.
and definitely emotionally.
Yeah.
So
Which can be worse.
Yes.
I think they leave scars that nobody sees.
Yeah.
Here's the worst part, what you're saying about isolating. So what do you think is the healthy person, and you're friends with someone who's with a narcissist? You think, what's wrong? Why aren't they leaving? And then eventually you get to a point where you're like, it can't be that bad because they're staying. And you start to devalue how horrible that person is getting treated because they don't have whatever that is within them because they've been beaten down. Think about it like a big wheel. It's a circle. It starts with the narcissist abusing her emotionally. Then she somehow stays for a variety of reasons. And then she believes it. So she stays. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's
and
a
what
vicious
happens,
circle.
It's a vicious circle. It's a perfect way to say it. And people are like, I'm out. So where they could have someone who's there to help them pick up the pieces in that tiny chance that they actually do want to go, like the person that you knew, amazing that she left.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank God.
Thank God. And it's like a whole different life that person now has the option to live. But this is why it's so sad. It's not just that they're like, why are you going there? Why are you talking to her? Why are you saying yes to coffee with her? Like, meaning someone like us.
Yeah.
Or you. That's the isolating portion. The worst part is that the person who would be like a lifeline, which is not their job, but that person is like, I'm out. This is too weird for me, right? That's the hardest part. It's like one of the few really unique parts of narcissism a narcissism, narcissistic abusers, and the world they set up.
Yeah. So you're talking about the person that's trying to help this person. That
Right.
steps back. Yeah, because
That
was
person
me.
steps back.
Because honestly, I was so emotionally drained. I was exhausted. Because it was like a fight. Like I was in the fight too.
Right.
Because I
That's
literally
really well said.
took her away for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
To get her away from it, and it was emotional for me to hear the things that she went through, and and then you come home and she went back. It was tough. It was tough. And then I said, okay, well then, now I'll step back and she'll have to figure it out. That's what I'm saying. It's like you
And
can't.
by the grace of God, she did.
She did, thank God, yes. But that's why I was saying it's like you can do so much to help, but they have to be the ones to make that choice and that decision to get out,
I had a friend that profiling him based on what we say today, yeah, he's a narcissistic.
Oh. You had a friend or have?
I had until not long ago, probably a month ago or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, maybe a month ago.
That's recent.
Yeah, that's recent because I always try, to give second chances.
Yeah, you're like me. You're like me,
You
Carlos.
he's not too bad.
Yeah.
Let's he's going through a bad moment or something.
Right, you're just thinking he's just not the best person.
Yeah, but it's changing over the time. It's like a roller coaster.
It's a pattern, like Priya was saying.
but it's like a roller coaster. So sometimes you see it, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see, oh no, poor guy. And then you see the other
exactly what Priya's
face,
saying,
and then you
yeah.
see the other face, and then just when we talk about energies, when you feel we are energies everywhere, and then you talk to this guy over the phone for 30, 45 minutes, and when the phone call ends, you feel so tired, so drained, like
So sad.
I know, it's
yeah,
terrible.
you feel bad, and it's not because he's saying bad things to you.
Yeah.
He's transmitting the energies to
Yeah,
you.
he's wearing you out. It's just
He's
wearing you out. It's just like
so I told my wife, I can't take his phone calls anymore.
See, yeah.
I will try texting him. And then the last time we saw him, we were like, no, we don't supposed to be on this situation anymore. So it's over. So there's no way. I try, but then you realize that there's basically nothing you can do about it. He has to realize the condition he's on it, and he has to try to do something about it. He won't change the condition at all, but probably he can get a little bit better or something, but has to be by himself, not somebody else like me.
If he's a narcissist, he will not get better. He will not improve. He may have tiny little things that he does.
Slight improvements, not changing 100%, but it's not on me. That's what I say. I don't have to be there receiving all those bad energies,
The other part is that I think that the part of the human condition is to say, everyone can get better. People can get better. How is it possible that they can't heal? It's a mystery that we don't know. And we have no need to know why some people won't heal ever or not. That's God's job.
Yeah.
It's not ours. And what we want to do is like hold out hope. I remember saying to my therapist at the time, I think this person is a really bad, evil person. And my therapist said, congratulations. That's part of becoming an adult, is to recognize there are evil people in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And they do exist to hurt you and harm you. And your job is to keep a wide berth. That's number one. So I've given you a couple of things that are just, if you see these things and they're consistently showing, there's like 12 here, but I'm giving you guys like the most critical. So I talked about supply, right? And then I talked about consistently inconsistent as human beings. Here's the third thing. They have something called variable empathy. So variable empathy is when a narcissist is like, Nan, are you okay? It seems like you're a little down and you're having a hard time. And you talk to them and you're like, oh my God, They cannot be a narcissist. They care about how I feel. But in that same conversation, they receive something from you. They get either attention or they feel like they're a great friend. It's about how it's feeding them. But they're empathetic with you. They may have just come off like, getting an award at work. So they're filled. They have supply and they can be chit-chatty and empathetic with you. But 2 days later, you see them and they're like, that person's my new friend. They really do care about how I am. And they look at you and you go, hey, thanks so much for, walking me through that. I'm actually doing better. And they look at you and go, what? They don't even remember. They have variable empathy. Sometimes they're extremely empathic and sometimes they just don't care. But the thing to remember is none of that empathy is real. It's designed to manipulate the subject of that conversation to still somehow point back to the narcissist. It's horrible.
Yeah, because they're doing it because it makes them feel important.
Right.
They feel like, oh, she's telling me I'm important.
Exactly.
It's like another
They're feeding
themselves.
Yes.
Meanwhile, they really don't give two craps what's going on.
Correct.
With you. They're just doing it to feed themselves.
Correct.
And the lack of attention, I just said earlier. Let's say this happens to me. That person was talking, to everyone in the room, probably like 8 people there, and I was paying attention in a respectful way. And after like 20 minutes, he talking by himself. I was about
by
to
himself in the corner?
just talking. Just just
to a group.
You're just talking to a group.
He was holding court with
but not allowing anyone to
escape.
No, to make anyone to talk.
That's what
and
I
was
mean.
just listening to him. Okay, makes a little bit of sense. Listening in a respectful way.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, when I saw he was getting a little bit exhausted of talking continuously, I was like about to say something. And then when I began to say something, he left.
Oh. Because you took the attention.
No,
away
because
from him.
he doesn't care about what I have to say.
Oh,
He doesn't give it, and he just left. And I was like, okay.
Excuse me, but I was talking over here. Come back.
I was about to,
That's what I would say.
I was about to. I didn't even begin to say something. I was just beginning to say something. He left right there, and those were the signs for me to finally, because my wife was telling me for a long time ago. But those were the final signs on that occasion to realize these guys had to be.
Yeah. He likes to listen to himself talk.
Yeah, but I was like this. So he was talking for 30 minutes. I was about to say something. He just left.
Yeah, because they have a need for dominance. They need to be number
one.
And
I was like, something's wrong. Something's wrong.
He saw you there. And then he was like, out of here.
I'll make sure I do that next time you start talking, Carlos.
You're never going to do that.
No, I would
never going to do that.
But Carlos, I will say, excuse me, but I am talking. I do that.
She does say.
I am not finished with my conversation, is what I say. Right? Excuse me.
Excuse me, I'm talking.
You foil any narcissist in your way because you refuse to play the game.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna wind up with a couple of different things, and then do you have anything? I mean, I've done so much.
I think that's it. I mean, like for me, like I said, you've definitely done way more research. I just did a little bit of research.
You did good research,
but like I said, I don't have a lot of experience with narcissism, but my experience with dealing with someone who was with someone, it's really all I have. But I just think it's just hard to distinguish between, like you said, like just a bad person and a narcissistic person.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I'm glad you said that because I have some red flags.
Okay, let's go. Let's hear them.
So these are common behavioral patterns that, especially when repeated and consistent, should raise concern and point to the possibility of someone being a card-carrying narcissist.
Okay.
1, charm that turns into control. So they may love bomb you early with attention, praise, or gifts, then shift slowly to criticism, guilt tripping, or gaslighting once you're emotionally invested. Number 2, a lack of accountability. They say things like, if you didn't say that, I wouldn't be mad.
Of course.
If you weren't the way you are,
So reverse.
I wouldn't be so angry. You need to stop saying those things because that's why I'm so cruel to you. And you deserve it because you say those things. Nothing is ever their fault. Even when they cause harm, they'll blame others or rewrite the story. 3, extreme sensitivity to criticism, even gentle feedback. 4, manipulative empathy. This is what I call the variable empathy. They may appear deeply empathetic when it serves them, especially to gain your trust or admiration, but they'll disappear emotionally 100% if you ever need their support. 5, a pattern of unstable relationships. Whether romantic, professional, or social, narcissists often have a long trail of ruptured relationships, fallouts, or dramatic exits. The narcissist that I was friends with, she told me, I don't have a single friend. I don't know what happens.
I wonder why.
I keep picking mean people. Okay. 6, you feel in your interaction with the narcissist like you're the problem. Over time, they subtly or overtly convince you that your reactions are overblown, that you're too sensitive, or that you are the toxic one. And those are the 6 top red
those are
flags.
Very good.
So that's the way you determine. If someone does one of them, probably not a narcissist. If someone does all of them and they do them repeatedly, they're a narcissist.
I think from what you say today, the repeating is a big
The
big-
repetitiveness.
the
of
pattern
it.
of repetition is a big key on this.
Yeah.
Well, and it's very
Because you can be having it happen now and then, barely happens. Okay, maybe it's not enough to qualify that person as a narcissist. But this is a pattern that you see
the pattern.
happening, you know. That's a key factor, and that's something that
Correct.
I learned today.
Yeah, and you look for, and you have to. It's probably very easy to fall for a narcissistic person.
Yes.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
just
no,
saying
absolutely.
that. Because they come out strong.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to fall for a narcissistic person because of their personality in the beginning.
Right.
Because that's what it says, the first impression. So
Correct.
so it doesn't mean if you as a friend or in a relationship, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with your picking this person because they're not who they truly are at first.
Yes.
It's this pattern.
They fool you.
They fool you.
Yeah.
But the key is to identify
Yes, with the pattern.
the pattern. The key is to identify that in a timely
In a timely manner.
yes. That's the most difficult.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you how you do it. You step back. For many people, they're love bombed and they return it. They jump back into that situation. If you hold yourself back just a little bit, you're able to see with clear eyes, hey, they minimize me. Hey, they minimize me again. Hey, they made me feel like my contribution didn't matter. Wow, this is the 4th time that I've seen that person, or the 4th date that I've been on, or the 4th year that I've been married to this person, that they're acting this way. They're not changing. They're not changing. I think if you're able to, at the beginning, step back a little bit and be like, yeah, I'm attracted to this person. He makes me feel like he's the only person in the world. Let's hang back a little bit. Let's hang back
if
and
it's
watch.
possible.
Yeah, if it's
Because I
possible.
believe they're very smart too.
Oh, they're so canny. They're wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yes.
That should have been the topic sentence.
And that's
is
scary.
so good.
And that's scary.
Narcissist. Narcissist.
That's scary.
Are
Wolf in
and
sheep's clothing.
Very good, Pray.
Yeah.
That's
thank
mic
you.
drop.
Yeah, that's we're actually almost to the end. We're just a few minutes out from the end of our thing. I have a couple of takeaways that I want to share. So should I share them now, or do you guys have something?
I had something here that maybe is something nice to talk about. How you deal with a narcissist. It says, first, you cannot change the narcissist, but you can change your response. Instead of trying to fix or win over the narcissist, focus on setting clear boundaries. Don't take their behavior personally. Keep your reality check strong. Practice the power of non-reaction because he's trying to feed from you.
Sure, he
But
needs to be fed.
If you don't react, you cuck. You cuck the
Then
cycle.
you really piss him off.
You actually do.
Yeah.
Prioritize your self-care and growth. And I think those are
That's
good
good.
points.
It's all about your reaction.
Your
is what you're
reaction.
saying.
Because he didn't want to feed. They feed from your reaction as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So cuck that. Boom. Right
Yeah,
there.
that's if he doesn't tear you down by then.
Well,
You see what I mean?
There's something called gray rocking. So if you're out there and you're being jacked around by a wolf in sheep's clothing, go online and look up the term gray rocking, like a rock, like a stone, gray rock, gray rocking. That's one of the best ways. And it involves non-reaction. But there's a lot of other parts
How
to it.
hard would that be?
Gray rocking.
Yeah, be tough.
Gray rocking is basically acting like a plain gray rock.
Just hiding out, like
Just
you're
kind of
blending
like
in,
blending
camouflaged.
and saying nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, how hard would that be?
Terrible. Well, let me just tell you something. For me,
Yeah,
I
you couldn't do it.
there's no
Me either.
way.
I'd be a red rock. I'd be so bright.
You'd be like a red meteor smashing everything in its way. You wouldn't be sitting on the ground. You'd be in the air trying to smash that person.
When I'm in my right state of mind.
Yeah.
But if I'm not, if I'm very vulnerable and at a point in my life, then I'd be the gray rock. But normally I'd be the red.
The red meteor versus the gray rock.
No, but on a serious point.
So the two things I want to share that are really important to know is narcissists need control, not connection. So
For sure.
So a narcissist doesn't seek relationship for mutual growth, intimacy, love. They seek people who will mirror their greatness. That's what you call a trophy wife. They look for trophy wives and stuff like that. They seek people who will provide validation or meet emotional needs they could not fulfill on their own. And this dynamic can make you feel always not enough. That's number one. They don't want connection. They don't want it.
Right, of course
They want
not.
control. And the number two thing is, so this is something that was interesting. This Dr. Ramani was talking about a teapot. This is how narcissists view human beings. This is how they view them. She has a teapot. She uses the teapot. Dr. Ramani does. She says, I drink tea every morning. I go specifically, I get the teapot, I heat it up, I pour my tea, and that's what I need the teapot for. If the teapot ever came to me and was like, Dr. Ramani, I really need to talk to you. I'm really struggling with something. She said, I would look at the teapot and go, you're the teapot. I just need you for tea. Go back to the oven. That's how a narcissist thinks. I'm using you for this. Why are you bugging me? Why are you calling me? Well, I don't have time for you. I need you when I need you and not any other time than that. So that's number one. They don't want connection. They want control. And the second thing is you cannot heal a narcissist through love or logic. This is really important. This may be the hardest truth to accept. Narcissists often do not change unless they deeply commit to their own insight and long-term therapy. And even then, change is rare because how many narcissists do you know who do that? Love, empathy, or fixing them will not undo the damage or make them value you differently. You are not the exception. You are part of the pattern. And that means letting go.
Right. How
of
many
any
times do
effect.
we think we're an exception? Like
Right.
you can be the one to save that person or change that person.
That's the mic drop today. For those people who are dealing with them,
Yeah.
that's not going to happen. It won't happen,
Yeah. I try.
Yeah.
Yeah. You, Carlos, was 100% not the exception. You were the pattern, my friend. I'm so
He
sorry.
didn't even wait to hear you speak.
Yeah, he was
Oh my
out of here.
gosh.
So that's really serious podcast today.
Yes, very.
And very sad when you think about the kind of people that are struggling with narcissists in their lives. My prayer is that something that we talked about today lands with whoever's listening, whoever that one person is in the world. That's our genuine desire for this podcast, that we would bring some sort of relief or some sort of suggested change to anyone who's watching right now who's struggling with it, because my heart truly goes out to those people who are in a narcissist circle. And my hope is that if you are, this book, It's Not You, is a game changer. She's like an absolute authority on narcissism. And there are plenty of other resources out there, and also therapy. I love therapy.
Yeah.
A therapist, and choosing a really good one who understands narcissism would be a step in the right direction. Nanny, any thoughts?
No, I think you hit
it
it right on the nose today. Very good, Bree.
Yeah. It's Carlos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you did good.
I think we're good.
we were just listening. We were just like,
Listening and
had a
learning.
lot.
Right?
And learning.
I
like,
I had a
interesting.
lot of
yeah,
information.
but it's good. It's good
good.
stuff.
It's good.
It's very interesting.
It-
It's a very sad subject. You're right,
Yeah.
but it's very interesting, and it's knowledgeable. Like you the things you said. Like it's very
Thank
important to know.
Key,
You know,
Yeah.
key
especially if you're
factors.
and
Yeah.
even if you're not dealing with a narcissist in your life now,
Yeah.
it'll help you if you ever come across someone.
That's the best part. Yes, that's the hope.
Yeah.
So I think we're done for today. And Nan always says something as we wind up, and it's really good, even with something like this.
Remember to take things lightly while doing life deeply.
Yeah.
Yeah, even in the hard
Wonderful.
times.
Even in
Gotta
the
try
hard
to take things
times.
lightly. It's not easy, but
Yeah.
just try.
It's beautifully said. And that's it for us today. We love you. We want you to keep watching. We have some really good podcasts still ahead of us. And you can find us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or on our website, gratitudeandattitude.life. And like we said, if you have questions, send them to us. If we can point you in a certain way, go on our website, send us an email. We are rooting for you. We're cheering for you, whoever you are out there. And we're saying a prayer for you. We love you and God loves you. And that's it
Yes.
for today, everybody.
See you next
Bye.
time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.